Well, it's day three of MSI 2016. I'm joined right now by Huhi after his victory today against your arch nemesis Supermassive. We didn't have a chance to talk yesterday. What happened? Why did you guys lose yesterday? Why did you win today against Supermassive?
Yesterday the reason why we lost versus Supermassive is first we definitely like underestimated them, so we kind of got like really aggressive in play style wise, and then we didn't talk about 2v1 at all, even though bottom matchup was bad. So we got punished from that, and then they are good enough to like push their leads because they made through like wild card, and then they won every other teams, and then like made to MSI. So they are pretty good at pushing leads.
Okay. And why were you able to beat them today?
Today, we talked about the yesterday's game a lot because I was like pretty disappointed that we lost to Supermassive. So we made sure that we were not going to disrespect them at all, and then try to target them as much as possible, and then try to play how we normally play.
Right. All right, we kind of buried the lead though, because the bigger story today is that you guys beat SKT, which is, despite the fact that they're playing a little under par, it's still a really big story for CLG to beat SKT. What was your thought going into that game? What was CLG's plan? Sort of how did that all happen?
Playing versus SKT, people were actually like not over like giving them like over respect, I guess, because last time at IEM that's what we did, and then we didn't do anything in game and then lost everything. So this time we made sure that we're going to respect them, but not like over respect.
Okay.
So versus them, they were playing LeBlanc, so people were like cheering a lot, but it didn't really matter because we set it up like pretty well that we were going to win the game. So, and also like Trevor went off on like in a few team fights, so it was pretty cool to give Faker the second loss on LeBlanc.
Yeah. Is it kind of a surreal experience knowing that you beat SKT? Because for I think North American fans, like if you had said that to somebody a couple months ago, like CLG will go on to beat SKT in a tournament, their heads would just explode. Is it a weird feeling for you?
Uh, Not really. I think people does underestimate us, but we know where we stand pretty well. So we knew that we had pretty good chance of facing SKT and every other teams in MSI.
Yeah.
But we just need to make sure that we're on point on like our style, like our conditions and like how we play. So I think the biggest like biggest I'll say problem that we are going to face is like controlling our condition and then just focusing.
What do you think of the fact that so many people ahead of your matchup said that SKT just outclassed you guys, right? Like they point at you, they point at Stixay, and they say these are some of the weaker carries in this tournament. That's what they're saying, not me. Just so you know, Huhi.
Yeah.
And then they see you have to go up against Faker, and they're like, yeah, there's no way CLG can win this. Do you think that those statements are right? Do you think that it's you guys just outclassed them as a team, not as individuals? What do you kind of think about all those people that said that?
People do say those things a lot, especially now. I get like lots of critics a lot.
Yeah.
I'll say, but every time I see those things, I don't really care because they were doing that for like the beginning of the season, and we are still I'll say trying to prove that they are wrong, even though we won the LCS finals and made to MSI. So even though we beat SKT, they're pretty critics to us, but we just need to win because actions matters more than I'll say
Words,
morals. Yeah.
yeah. So now, again, a similar question. So many people thought that CLG would not be in the top four. Now, I mean, I know there's still two more days, but it looks pretty much like you guys are going to make it out, and you're ahead of SKT, which again is kind of crazy. Were you guys able to walk in here and feel really confident about your chances, or is this kind of a surprise for you guys too?
We were pretty confident that we were going to make out of the group stage for sure, and like even though we lost like few odd games versus like Supermassive and RNG, they were a really good team.
Yeah.
But I felt like we still should have won that game, but we didn't really like care about the loss that much because it's only the group stage.
Sure.
So if you go to best of five, I think we have like a pretty good like adaptation going into it. So I think like those adaptation can be our advantage in the best of five as well.
Now, I think there's so many people that just feel like CLG historically has struggled and then not made it to the international stage. Obviously, Worlds last year. Now you guys are here. As someone sort of new to the team, what does it feel like, and what is the sort of atmosphere on the team for you guys doing so well at an international event?
Uh, for example, Trevor and me like both didn't like really know that we didn't had a break time at all.
Yeah.
Like if we win, we actually have no break time because we are going to like participate in every single tournament, which is cool. But also sometimes people do get burnt out. But last time we also talked about those things and made sure that it's like one chance in our life. So let's just, even though we get burnt out, let's just try to cheer each other up, and then like try to get as far as we can.
Now, one of the mysteries of this tournament that so many people are talking about is what is going on, right? Because it's like things kind of seem crazy. There's some teams that were expected to do better, some teams that were expected to do worse. And quite frankly, out of all the international tournaments for as long as I've been covering League, this seems like everyone is really close, right? Like RNG, even though they're undefeated right now, they still look like, they could lose a game every now and then. Uh, do you think it's just that some of the teams here are weaker than normal? Like, is SKT really underperforming, or is it that the teams that were normally at the bottom, like the North American team, like CLG, you guys have gotten way better? What is happening? Is it just the top has gotten worse, or the bottom has gotten better?
I think it's kind of both. I do think SKT is underperforming a little bit, and I do think we actually CLG actually got a lot better after like being in this tournament. Like we played a lot of teams that we never played before, so we're actually learning a lot of stuff. And this tournament is kind of crazy because we also talked about it that we feel like every team can actually beat every team. So yeah, it's just pretty chaotic, but it's also like I'll say pretty fun for fans to watch because there isn't like an overpowered team that
Right.
can like that is going to destroy every single team.
Yeah. I mean, RNG looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, they do look pretty good, but every other teams looks also pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Very good. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the CLG fans out there who are losing their mind and don't know what this world is like whenever CLG can beat SKT?
uh, thanks for the all the support until now, and we are not really like satisfied about like our situation, our like state right now. So we're actually going to try harder and then try to get further, and we hope that you guys can also cheer for us. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Huhi, and congratulations on the two massive wins today. First SKT, but then also your arch nemesis, SuperMassive. So thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations on today. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things MSI at Yahoo Esports.